Lasagna is a real labour of love, but I'm going to show you a few cheats to make this pretty much a midweek dinner. Instead of using a variety of mincemeats and lots of vegetables, I'm going to be using some pork sausages. And instead of a bechamel, I'm going to combine some ricotta and parmesan together with some egg. It works so well. So let's make the ragu, if you like, the sausage ragu. So into a saute pan, we'll add some extra virgin olive oil, a good splash. And then to this we'll add some onions. So just one onion that I've chopped, and we'll just soften them. To this I'll also add 1 clove of garlic. I'm just going to bruise the garlic and roughly chop it. We'll pop that in. Along with 2 bay leaves. You could also add some dried herbs to this and some rosemary. I just love the flavour of rosemary with these pork sausages. Now let's talk about the sausages. You can use many different varieties of sausages. If you didn't want to use pork, you could use some beef sausages for this. It's entirely up to you. I love fennel and pork sausages. They're fantastic. These ones have a little pear in them. So what I like about the pork sausages is they're fatty and they are flavoured, so it does cut out a few ingredients. And what you need to do is take the casings off. See how easy it comes off? And then we're just going to break this up with our fingers and you'll see it start to emulate mincemeat. It pretty much is mincemeat. So just separating the links, cutting straight down with a sharp knife and then adding it. And sausages do tend to be a little fattier than your classic mincemeat, and that's what I want for this because we're going to get a lovely juicy style ragu. So there's 2 ways of actually making this sauce. You can leave the sausage in like little clusters so they look like meatballs, or you could use a fork to break it up. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to break mine up with a wooden spoon just so it looks like that mincemeat. Now before we start adding any other ingredients, you do want to get a bit of colour onto the sausages just to seal them off. Give that a toss. Now that I'm getting some really good colour on the sausages, we can add our passata. Now passata is just a tomato puree. You want quite a lot in here. You want it to cover up. And now that it's come up to the boil, I'll add some stock. So we just need a splash of chicken stock in there. Now the sausages have some salt in it, so I want to be quite measured when I add my salt. So a little pinch now, along with some pepper. Already smells so good. So I'm not going to pop the lid on this. I'm just going to allow this to bubble away and reduce. The sausages are pretty much cooked, so we just want that rich and thick sauce. So while that's bubbling away, let's get onto the white sauce, which is not a bechamel. It's a combination of ricotta and egg, and it works so well because we get almost a lighter finish on our lasagna. So use some good quality ricotta. We'll place this into a bowl. You'll need about 200 grams, maybe a little more, depending on the size of your lasagna dish. And to bind it all together, 1 egg. Crack that straight in. And a good handful of parmesan. Fantastic. We'll also add a tiny pinch of salt, and then with your spoon, incorporate that together. See how simple that is? That's much easier than making a bechamel. And that's the white sauce done. That's how easy it is to do. So all we need to do is wait for this sauce to finish cooking. I'll turn it off after that, and then we can start layering our lasagna. Okay, our sauce is thickened up nicely, so let's start assembling this. I like to use a ladle because it's just much easier, and we're just going to add 1 to 2 ladlefuls into the base of a baking dish, and we're just going to spread that out so it's nice and even. And my friend Adam Swanson, he always says not to overdo the sauce. You want to really ration it out between each layer, and just to ensure that you have enough for the top. So you can just break up the little bits of sausages. What I like about using the sausages is you get the textures, you get the little bits, you get the chunky bits. It looks fantastic. And then for our lasagna sheets. Now these are instant lasagna sheets, which means they're going to take no time at all to cook in the oven and absorb all the lovely flavour from the sauce and the cheese. So I've just measured out my baking dish, and you can see 3 is so perfect for this. And don't forget, you want to give a little bit of room because it does expand slightly as it cooks. Another layer of our sauce, again, spreading it out so it's not too thick. And by doing that, we're going to get a lovely even cook. Okay, for our ricotta mixture, I'll add a few spoonfuls, and I just use my finger just to take it off so we've got little dollops of this fluffy, cheesy ricotta. Oh, it's so good. Okay, I'm just going to continue the process, top it with some mozzarella, and then it goes into the oven, 180 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. Sausage and ricotta lasagna. It looks pretty impressive. And my favourite part of a lasagna like this is, see all these little crispy bits? That's just the lasagna sheets poking out, and I just love it. So you know which bit I'm going for. I'm definitely going for this little corner bit. Just cut a square, and we're going to serve it. Now, the worst thing you can do with lasagna is to take it out of the oven and serve it straight away. If you just let it sit for half an hour, and it seems a long time, you think it might go cold, but it will hold its residual heat and it'll be just perfect. If you cut it too early, then it'll be too sloppy. You just want it to relax for a little. And we want to get in there. Oh, look at that. Perfect layers. It's just right. Pop that onto a plate. That is the perfect lasagna. It's a cheese lasagna. We changed the mince to sausages, and instead of making a bechamel, that ricotta, and it's just as good, dare I say, even better.